Hello and welcome to the Wine Enthusiast Podcast, your serving of drinks culture and the people who drive it. I'm Ryan Grimm, magazine director here at Wine Enthusiast, and today I'm talking to Sébastien Pradal, the wine consultant on the Apple TV show Drops of God. If you haven't seen it yet, Drops of God is probably the most wine-obsessed, wine nerd scripted show ever made. It follows Camille, a French writer whose deceased father was one of the world's foremost wine educators and collectors, and Issei, who was one of his students. From beyond the grave, Camille's dad insists that Camille and Issei do these intense sort of wine challenges and tastings, and in season 1 he has them taste a mystery wine, and they have an entire month to identify it, and it takes them on all these crazy adventures. In season 2, which is still rolling out now, they have to investigate a really expensive, precious, unlabeled bottle that was purchased at an auction, and allegedly it's the best in the world. The show is packed with wine tastings, trips to vineyards, discussions about biodynamic winemaking. There's also a lot of family mysteries and dark secrets and all sorts of intrigue. Seb Pradal, a Paris-based sommelier, restaurant owner, and wine distributor, was kind enough to chat with me about his role on Drops of God and how he brought deep wine knowledge to the series. Seb, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Ryan, how are you?
I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Paris. I'm sorry because my voice is a bit broken because we had for 3 days the Wine Paris convention, which is the biggest wine fair in the world, I guess now. So I spoke a lot and drink a few glasses as well. So okay.
Yeah. How'd it go? How'd it go for you?
Not so bad, you know. My real job is a wine agent, so I'm selling wines for a lot of French domain, such as Comte de la Forme, HDPR, Beaucastel, etc. So mainly I went to see all of them and bring some clients to the stand, etc. So, okay, but quite tiring, but it's okay. I'm here with you. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. So let's get into the show. So the first thing I want to know is, as a young man starting out in wine, you've been in this business for a long time. Did you ever dream that you would be helping produce a show like this?
Firstly, thank you very much for telling everyone that I'm an old sommelier now. I appreciate it. No, I'm kidding. No, that's a joke. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm over 50 now, so I'm doing this for 30 years. You're right in the business. So yeah, of course, it's even better than this. I couldn't dream if that would happen. Like when I was 16 or 17, back in my studies, I wanted so much to be a writer, but unfortunately, my school work was not as good as this job requested. So it's like a gift, you know, 40 or like, let me guess, 30 years later, when I was 47, when Klaus Zimmermann asked me, the producer, asked me to be part of the show. That was just crazy for me, a dream coming true.
The pre-production on the show was, 7 or 8 years ago. So this has been quite a journey. You know, what sorts of decisions were you making in the pre-production process before shooting even started?
Well, as I was telling you, Klaus Zimmermann called me firstly on the show. I think we were at the beginning, just he and I, even before the writer, but it was not because I was I was not the first choice to be an advisor, but we had the relationship in common. And when Klaus get the right for the Drops of God from the mangas, I guess, he just wanted to, to understand a bit about wine and the wine industry and the wine world and etc. And we had a relationship in common. And this guy told him, "Oh, well, you don't understand nothing about wine. Let me introduce you to Seb Pradal." They went to my restaurant and we had a lunch. That's the true story, we just drank and ate together for like 3 or 4 hours. We drank good wines. And so we were chatting a lot because wine helps chatting, right? And then after this, he told me, "Oh, that's great. The way you speak about wine is very easy to understand for me. And not such as sometimes they can be, too much into the theory and etc." So he told me, "Please, I would like to know a bit more about the vines and the way to do wine and etc." So yeah, so we went 3 months later, and I think at that time that the writer Koop Van Tran was with us in the journey. We went to Chateau de Beaucastel in Châteauneuf-du-Pape to understand and see the work of a winemaker. And after this period, he told me, well, please stay with us and join us to write the series and to help the actors and etc.
Yeah, I would imagine the actors and the writers had different levels of knowledge about wine. Like, how did you kind of start with your education with them?
The same way I did with Klaus Zimmermann, firstly we met and we had lunches with the writer, cook, Van Tran. He asked me a lot of questions about the vines, biodynamics, how to vinify, what is a sommelier? When you taste a wine, what what is it like? This bell ringing in your brain when you taste a Viognier, for example. Viognier is pitch and cricket. How does it occur in your mind when you taste the wine? And that's how we had this fantastic idea of the library coming into the brain of Camille in the first season. He asked me about the sommelier competition and etc. And then concerning the training part with the actors. Well, Tomo, he what I wrote a part of the script with the writers, so it was in fact easy for me to explain to Fleur Geffrier and Tomo Yoshida, the two actors, that they had to appreciate the wine through their character. I explained myself. Camille in the first season and in the second as well. She's a writer. She's French. She's a woman. She doesn't. I don't spoil anything, but she does not drink wine. She cannot drink wine. Tomo, he's the antagonist, Japanese from East. So he's got this culture, strict one, I would say. Very Japanese way, and he's the best student that Alexandre Léger has. Alexander is the best wine expert. Okay, so the two antagonism, but just had to taste the wine like they are. So Camille, she's a poetess, so she swirls the glass like Firstly, she takes the glass with a full hand. I don't know how you say it, but you know what I mean. And Issei, on the contrary, is just acting like a robot. So it was very easy to explain them, and they understood very quickly how they should do it.
Yeah, I would imagine with the cast coming from many different countries and so many different languages, was it kind of tricky sometimes with people's different attitudes about wine or different customs?
Yeah, but this is the richness of the show as well. It's multilingual. Do you say it? Yeah, multilingual show, right? Okay. So the richness of the people coming from east, coming from west, Italy, Japan, France, etc. That's great because it's bringing a lot of it's deep, to tell the story and to explain things about the characters. But of course, the same thing for the wine and for the people acting for the wine. Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, so I guess take me through this process. If when you're handed pages of the script, was there anything that you would see in the first season or second season where you were immediately like, "Oh no, that's not gonna work. Like we have to change this."
Yeah, obviously, but I was really, helping during the writing. So in fact, it was more like they started. So I'm sorry, people listening, they know about cinema. I did not. So okay, I'm going to explain you the way I experienced it. In fact, they just firstly send you 8 episode sum up. Okay, very 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 short, one episode, one page, and mainly they are after all the speaking and the discussion we had. They build the story. Okay, so in the first season, it was a competition. Okay, to earn the all the inherents of Alexandre Léger after his death. In the second series, it's an investigation to find the grail. Okay, the great wine, I mean. So in the first season, they made those 8 pages, send it to me, and right away, as you were saying, I could see if some things were adapted or not to the wine. I could right away tell them before they started writing, this is going to be not the good way, or maybe we should do that like that, and etc. One of the sentence that they used to repeat me was, "But said, forget you're a sommelier. You are writing now, so please, we would like this to happen. How can it be?" And so that was very funny for me to do it. And maybe that's why they have chosen the right guy, because I'm not, as I was telling you, really I am a sommelier, of course, but I have multiple caps. I'm working in the sales. I own a restaurant. I own a company in the export, and etc. And for the second season, it was quite different because, well, in the first season we did it. Then they left blanks for after writing all the episodes. They left blanks for the dialogues, so I could write them myself. Then they corrected it because that's their job to do it really great and straight. I've chosen the wines, of course, part of the story as well. And for the second season, I was from the beginning into the writer tips, So then I was really, part of it from the beginning. You are choosing the countries and the how they are going to investigate, and the wines leading the investigation. Sorry, so they had to follow my lead sometimes for the story.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen a depiction in a fictional TV show of like rigorous study of wine and blind tasting and the challenges, and then this kind of test from beyond the grave from her father is almost kind of cruel. Like, do you feel like in your own experience there's this balance between learning about wine and studying it and just simply enjoying it and just having a good time?
Okay, so you started saying, Ryan, that I was an old sommelier now. So the theory and the studies are long time ago. But I guess that firstly, to all the people who enjoy wine, and I hope that we are creating some vocations with the show. If some of the people listening, they want to start with the wine, firstly, theory. They must read and get the knowledge about the vines, the wine itself, the history of wine, and etc. And when it's about the experience is coming, it's about tasting as much as possible wines. I think that's the best way to be and did what I experienced during my professional life.
Yeah. I think in addition to the all the tasting and the study, there's also almost like a magical, fantastical element, Camille, she has synesthesia, the way that she experiences wine, we see these, like, bursts of color. Do you feel like there are some aspects of wine and just in the wine world that almost live outside of science that are a little, like, inexplicable? Because I think the show kind of brings up some of these elements.
Yeah, this is true. So the show is a fiction, of course. As I told you, they told me, forget you're a sommelier and please help us to go more into the fiction. So she is described as a superhero. You're right. The way she connects in her brain with the synesthesia and etc. For example, she tastes, she smells firstly an aroma, and she makes a correspondence with the color. Okay, so this is synesthesia basically. And well, firstly, when you taste wine, of course, it's talking to your soul. It's something about the memory. Firstly, I used to say when I make wine tasting, if you smell, if a sommelier tells you when you are smelling a glass of wine, do you smell strawberry? You're not going to smell a strawberry, not a fresh one, of course. It's more about strawberry that you ate in a jam or whatever with your grandmother where you used to go on holidays when you were 8 years old. Something about soul. So you're right. It's something mystical, I would say. And besides this tasting aspect, there is something more. What I would add is that the more and more our crazy world is getting shorter and shorter with our screens, telephones, and etc. I think so for a few years that the people, uh, as much as they want to have, as much as I want to have my phone with me, if I don't have it, I'm lost. I think too but it's very important, and we are more opening to natural world, to classical artisanal jobs. You know what I mean? So I mean the smaller and the bigger we have to get the picture. So now wine is titling, and a lot of people, they want to know more about this industry. There is something mystical about that. because it's not producing alcohol. It's taking grape from a plot. Out of it, you are making wine that you can age. This is the only agricultural product which can be processed by a human being and tasted after 100 years. So I think, I don't know if you got my point. This, of course, it's completely mystical. The world of wine.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one big thing I got from watching the show. And you mentioned kind of the industry in general and the perception of it and how the show plays into that. Do you feel like where we are with the industry now, and obviously the past few years, past decade or so, there's been all these challenges. There's obviously climate change, vineyards are being ripped up. How do you feel like shows like this that go really deep into wine, how do they kind of help with people's perception of wine and the enjoyment of wine?
You mean how the show gets to help for those matters? That's what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like how people watch the show and is it sort of helping? Because I think wine sometimes has a PR problem. How does a show like this kind of play into that?
Okay, I've got you. So this is very important because it's this a lot of winemakers or even neophytes that I'm meeting after the 2 seasons now, and mainly, of course, the people from our profession. They say it's so great, guys, that you made a show speaking about our industry, because firstly, in France we've got a law, a law from the government law that we call loi Evin. With the Loewe, you cannot promote wine, alcohol on TV, on newspaper, on radio, whatever. Okay. So, for example, now we are talking about a show, um, talking about wine, which is a national treasure. French wine, of course, Italian wine as well. But in our country, it's cultural for centuries, and we are not allowed to speak about that normally. And the show allows to shine a light on the wine and what we are doing and the way we are doing it with people working, as I was saying, producing a wine. How does it go? How does it happen? You do it with the heart, with the soul, with your brain, and etc. And I think it's quite important as well because now, as you know, um, people are drinking less and less wine. And I'm not here making an apology about alcohol. Of course not. I'm 53. You can just see the top of my body, but I'm sporting and I'm trying to live very healthy, the best as I can. And I'm a sommelier, and I'm a sommelier. But I think that we are diabolizing. That does it exist, this word in English? No, making the wine like devil. I don't know how you say it in English. Like you must not drink. It's not good for your health, and etc. and etc.
Kind of demonizing it sometimes.
Okay, sorry for my
No,
French
you're fine.
word, but yeah, I prefer like 25 years ago when medias were speaking about the French paradox and that if you drank 2 or 3 glasses of red wine a week, it was preserving you from heart attack. You know what I mean? We The spectrum is very wide. You don't have to drink one bottle of wine a day, but you can enjoy one bottle of vodka a day, okay, because it's dangerous. But you can enjoy, of course, one glass of wine, sharing your meal with someone or with the people you love, and this is not the same aspect. And so I hope that the people watching the show, they understand that it's a social way. The art de vivre, à la française, as we say, art de vivre. I hope they will get it. And the profession, I think that they are happy that this is happening.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk a little more about season 2 because the show takes us to Georgia, home of some of the earliest winemaking in antiquity. What was that like for you? What was your experience with Georgian wine before
Uh,
season?
My God, this is a good question. In France, we are very much nationalist concerning the wine, very much protecting. I know, yeah, protectionist. That's the word I was looking for. Protectionist. For years and years, we didn't want so much to have foreign wines, so it was very difficult to find Georgian wine. I mean, to write the show, I had to understand very well what is an orange wine, a maceration wine, okay? Especially because it's well, I'm not spoiling, but we are talking about the red wine. So, okay, for me, uh, um, maceration into kvevri, those big amphora that they use in Georgia, with the red grape variety, but I could not understand how it works. So I started with going to wine shops in France, in Paris, trying to taste a few red wines from amphora. It didn't went as good as I thought. Roof and the strict tannins, not exactly the way I imagined the grape. So I ordered some wines from Switzerland and from England as well. I received a lot of samples. I tasted samples, and then, like in the show, I tasted one bottle. Wow, just talking about about this to you now, I've got how do you say it? Goosebumps. Yeah, yeah,
Goosebumps.
yeah, right now. That's crazy. So I tasted this wine. It's Marani Ruispiri. Marani Ruispiri. This is the name of the of the Marani of the estate. Okay, of the domain. And I tasted the wine, but was crazy. I reached the producer on WhatsApp, and I told him, okay, your wine is crazy, but I don't understand. Please, can I come and see how you do it? So before the show, I went there to Kakheti to meet Georgi Aradashvili, the winemaker, and he taught me so much about wine. Well, he is a bit special because he owns only 7 hectares, the plot, one plot, 7 hectares of 7 hectares. He's working on 6 different grape varieties with different blends or single grape variety, whatever. Biodynamics, leaving the branches of the vine going through without cutting them, because if he does, that's a scarf he's making on the vine, and that's not good for the vine. Like Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings, but a crazy, amazing guy, and he told me a lot about the Georgian wines. I stayed 2 days with him, and then when I came back, I was able to write and to tell a bit more about this grain they are investigating for.
Wow. So you were writing a lot of the dialogue kind of informed from your trip to Georgia?
Come again? I'm sorry, Ryan.
Oh, were you writing some of the dialogue in season 2 that was informed from your trip?
Oh yeah, right. Of course, the dialogues. Yes, when they are well, during the oh my god, I can't spoil. Yes, of course I did. I wrote a few dialogues. Yeah, for different scenes, the same way I did it for the first season. I don't go further because if I do, I know myself I'm going to reveal clues. I must not.
Yeah, no,
Yes, I did.
spoilers
Yes,
are
I did, sir.
spoilers here.
I did, sir. I did.
Yeah, so would you say that your relationship with wine in the past 7 years because of the show, like, how has it changed? Like, how have you grown in your own work because of this show?
Okay, I speak about myself. I'm sorry to do that. I don't know if it was your question, but this is going to be my answer. It's changed the way I'm looking at me. Okay, to be very honest, the way I look at Seb Pradal into the mirror. I'm 53, working for 32 years in wine industry, being a sommelier. I told you, blah blah blah. But the thing is that strangely, with the restaurant, the agency, which is one of the biggest in Paris, selling Conte la Fond, Grage des Pères, or whatever, etc., with the Mexican company, with all the things I did, etc., I had self-confidence, but I didn't feel like I had the legitimacy into the wine world. But that's stupid. I don't know. And that brought me this legitimacy in my own eyes. Now I feel like I watched back after the first season. I said, wow, okay, I'm the guy who did all of this. That's crazy. And now when people talk to me, or the interviews I'm doing with you and your great colleagues, it's giving me, I don't know, yeah, confidence, and I know that now I'm someone with a voice, saying things about the wine world and helping people through the show and etc. I don't know if I make my point, but this is the way I feel after making those 2 seasons. Like, I'm part of it, and I can give some influence, good influence into the wine and the wine industry.
Yeah. So in season two, the kind of like the main story is they're given this unlabeled bottle, right? And it's this mystery wine is supposed to be amazing, some of the best in the world. If you were to do this to someone, what bottle are you choosing? What's your pick that would be your kind of mystery wine that you think is some of the greatest in the world that they would have to investigate?
This is crazy. But I asked this question to myself during the writing. So in fact, that was that's why describe the wine this way into the mouth of the two characters. It's young, but it's old. It's fresh, but it's deep. A wine which cannot exist normally. And the core and questioning myself about the wine. I don't know. It's more like it's difficult to answer that question because I'm a lucky sommelier in France, knowing a lot of winemaker from a lot of countries. I've tasted very old wine, like 120, 20, or 130 years old. I tasted Romane Conti, which is known to be one of the most famous wine in the world, um, wines from all the countries. And honestly, I think that I don't have an answer, but I think that the best wine ever is the wine you taste with people you love. I mean, sharing a Syrah because she likes it with my wife. Um, that's certainly the best glasses I can drink with someone, or a good friend or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not really an answer, but well,
Right. Well, I guess not necessarily the best or what you think is the greatest. Obviously, that does not exist. But if there was one that was kind of like a mystery that would be really difficult and challenging for them to kind of figure out, what would be your pick for that?
Okay, so in that case, I would say maybe a wine from an area which is making wine for a short time. For example, we are quoting a Mexican wine in the second season. Mexican are making a lot of progress. Mexican people to make wine, or of course in the U.S. as well. When I see the work of Tegan from the Sunlands estate that we caught in the first season. Yeah, those people struggling hard to make wine in a territory which is sauvage and not into the wine industry. Struggling to make wine in a plot which is normally not working for that. This is the kind of wine I would like to people to taste.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, in working on season two, do you feel like the actors' knowledge and relationship with wine had changed a lot over the past few years? Like coming to work on the new season, what did you notice with them?
Yes, of course, they bother me. They don't call me anymore. They just call me to drink wine with them now. No, I'm kidding. No, no, that's crazy. That's very funny because now, like after the first season, they went really into the wine. The producer Klaus and Camille, well, Fleur and Tomo. Sorry for the Fleur and Tomo, the two actors. And after the first season, they used to send me WhatsApp or to call me, Seb, I'm in a restaurant eating this. What wine can I choose? So it was like a joke after a few times. So I told them, okay, take a picture of the wine list and send it to me. But they don't do it anymore. They know how to handle wine list now, really. And that's funny because Tomo and Fleur, they told me, both of them, when we started to make the promotion, we saw at each other in London, that now friends and family are asking them to choose the wine in the restaurants. They are the experts now. That's true.
Yeah. So I know that season 3, as far as I know, is not confirmed yet, right?
No.
If you could have anything happen with these characters and with this kind of really rich universe, well, what direction would you want to see it go in?
Let me think. In fact, I would say that the first season was introducing. Well, wine is one of the third character. Okay, there is three characters: Camille, Tomo, and the wine. Okay, we are not making a documentary about wine, but we are talking a lot about wine, and wine is leading the story. But of course, what is very important is that the characters, they are going, and mainly in the second season, deeper into their feelings. They are going to know themselves very much about after this second season, and the two characters are going to know at each other as well very much after the second season. So in the first season, we introduce three characters: Issei, Camille, and the wine. Uh, about the wine, that means that we wanted to show how to taste the wine, the mechanism that you were describing, synesthesia or whatever, when you taste the wine competition, how to open a bottle, etc. Second season, as we are doing for the characters, we go deeper into wine. So for the geeks that you and I are, there is some Easter eggs. So once again, it's not a documentary. So there is some Easter eggs talking about biodynamics, about Steiner, the inventor of biodynamics. Some tips about ecology and the way to handle water, etc. So I guess if there is, and I hope there will be a third season, I would like to go deeper and deeper. Just to take a wire and to how to say it in English, take a wire
And like pull the thread, yeah.
yeah, cool thread, okay, and I would like the people, you and I, we are going to understand the Easter eggs, and you're going to say, oh, okay, Seb, you want to tell this, talking about the biodynamics. I've got it. But what would be very great for the second, and maybe for the third, if it does happen, is that neophytes watching for the first season, after the show, some of them told me, this is crazy. After the show, I wanted to have a glass of wine. So first, we earn that struggle, that battle. So now they've got a glass of wine. They are a bit more into the wine. Second season, they are going to hear about biodynamics, taking a dictionary or watching on screens on YouTube or whatever. What is biodynamics? And I would like to do the same thing for the first season. Making a kind of giving them some knowledge and curiosity to go deeper. Maybe, who knows, creating some vocations, sommelier, winemakers, waiters, cookers, etc. That would be great.
Yeah. And if someone's maybe not the biggest wine fan, not a wine drinker, they know nothing about wine, what can they get from the show?
I think that I hope that they understand that once again, wine is not evil. It's really a product coming from nature, made by people, by human beings, women and men, trying to give with a lot of soul to give a part of their territory, to people. Okay, so I hope that they will understand that this is a gift given by nature, and besides, um, with a lot of moderation, of course. So I'm going to find my words, but I love wine. Firstly, because it's about sharing a meal, a glass, socializing with people. That's the real important thing for me when I go to a dinner for a friend, with my wife, or with a friend, whatever. We stay 2 or 3 hours in front of each other, and this is the best way of talking. Relaxing by eating some amazing food. Okay, so the feelings and etc. are a bit changing and getting softer. Then you drink a sip of wine and another wine, and the brain is getting relaxed, and then you can talk. So I hope that they will understand that, it's a way of living. What we used to say, once again, art de vivre à la française. This, sitting together and enjoying.
All right. You can't get that from looking at your phone.
Yeah, you can. That's right.
Well, I think that's all I had. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great.
No, thank you.
You can catch Drops of God on Apple TV. Season 2 is streaming now with new episodes every Wednesday. You can email us your comments and questions at podcast@wineenthusiast.com. Subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to your favorite shows. You can also go to wineenthusiast.com/podcast for more episodes and transcripts. I'm Ryan Grimm. Thanks for listening.